Hello. Today we're going to be making a small hand axe or bill hook out of an old Farrier's rasp. First, get rid of the tang. It's fairly easy. The hardy in the hardy hole, and clean up the end. Just level it off, tidy it up, ready for the handle. I'm going to take a heat of about 4 inches or so here, 4.5 maybe. And then what I'm going to do, there's several ways of making the handle. The way I'm going to do it today is in a piece of angle iron welded to a block which has been clamped to the anvil. Using the ball peen of the hammer, go from one end to the other of your heat, gradually forming a U shape. Once you've got your U shape as far as you can in the angle iron, go back onto the anvil and work it from each side. Make sure you work each side evenly so that the seam ends up in the middle, otherwise you'll end up with a nice spiral. It's going to take a couple of heats, so the first heat doesn't need to be you don't need to be too critical about your hammer blows. Just get it worked over. The second heat, you can finish it off and tidy it up. Make sure it's tight at the blade end, and round her up so that you've got a nice round rather than an oval. This will end up about 5/8 of an inch round, 16mm for your Europeans. Once it's been filed up and tidied up, a little bit of a rasp maybe, I shall put a piece of 5/8 car heater hose over it with the aid of a bit of WD-40 to slip her on. It makes a really comfortable handle. There you go, nice and round. Right, now I can't find me hollow bit tongs. I'll have to go and find them. Ta-da! There they are. Right, so we're now going to put it in the other way around. Heat up half the blade. Probably be easier in a gas forge where you can heat the whole thing and then just cool off the handle. But as I don't have one, I have to make do with this. So we're just going to flatten off all the teeth from the rasp. You know, this has got to go into wood now, so you don't want anything that's going to catch. It's got teeth down all 4 sides. Now get the other end of it warm. Get rid of that, don't need that anymore. Clean her up. Get the big hammer out. Just makes life a little bit easier. Forming the actual blade. And the actual blade needs to be very long. You need to take a long, I don't know how to describe it, but it needs to be sort of at least ½ an inch of taper on the blade. If it's too shallow, like if you were just to grind an edge on it, it would be far too shallow and it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't go through the wood. So you really need to, this is what we're starting now, hammering the actual working edge into it. You can see I've tilted it up slightly so that we're getting a nice long V. This will take a couple of heats. But if it's not a long edge, it just don't work. You have to be quite accurate here along the edge of the anvil, otherwise you end up completely mullering the edge of your anvil. I might make myself a proper big heavy block to do this on, so that I don't damage the anvil any more than I already have. Keep at it now the other end. You can probably just about see that with thinning the bottom edge out, it's putting a curve. You can see it there, a slight curve in the whole blade. The sort of the end is upturning, which I actually like. I leave that. I think it just adds a little bit of A, character, and B, a little bit of usability to it. Go tidy it up now with the smaller hammer. Just make sure it's nice and tapered. Take all the unnecessary hammer marks out. Working it back and forth. Power hammer would be probably quite nice for this, but as I can't run to one of those either, good old fashioned hammer work. You see, using the other end of the anvil to make sure that the blade is in the centre rather than off to one side. So it's tapered down the middle of the blade rather than right off to one side. You can see there quite nicely the curve of the blade. Now what we're going to do is just stick her in the vise, and where we've tapered the blade, the teeth that were on the rasp have formed almost like a saw edge now. So we're going to take them off from one end to the other. You just about see me doing it there. You can see it's good steel with the type of sparks that are coming off there. And then we're just going to clean the blade up just to make sure there's no hammer marks left. I will of course do both sides of this, but for the video I'm just doing the one. And once it's done I shall wire brush and then lacquer it just to protect it, and there you go. Once the rubber handle's on, it's a very handy little tool. Thanks for watching.